Hey guys, I have some good news. My kids are now asleep. My nanny has gone out to her house. My mother-in-law has gone out to her house, and my husband's at the gym. So we have the house to ourselves, the studio to ourselves. We will not have any toddlers in here today. Nobody's screaming in the background, no kids running by. So we are going to jump in today, and we are going to do a fabric tumbler. I've seen a bunch of videos. I learned how to fabric a tumbler from watching a YouTube video. But I've kind of tweaked it and changed it and added some stuff and just kind of figured out the way I like doing it. It probably is a combination of all the different videos I've seen and put them together to do this way that I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it on a 30-ounce skinny today, honestly, because I've sold out of everything else and I've rushed my order for all my other shapes and sizes of tumblers that I get. But they won't be here for a couple days, and I want to get this tutorial out for you guys to show you my version of the fabric tumbler. So your supply list today is obviously going to be your tumbler. You're going to need a what is this? A foam paintbrush, a really sharp X-Acto knife. So this one is a brand new blade. I will exaggerate the words extremely sharp. You need it very, very sharp. So if you've used it for like stripping a cup or scraping epoxy or anything, you want to switch the blade because you'll see why in the future part of this video, but you need it extremely sharp. So brand new blade, pair of scissors, Mod Podge, electrical tape, and fabric. So these are just little squares. These are really cute, fun little squares you can get at Walmart. I was gonna say Hobby Lobby. These are from Walmart. I'm sure Hobby Lobby has them too. I've actually never really looked, but they sell them in these little packs. These will do 2 full cups that are about this 30 size, and then a smaller like 14-ounce cup. So there's enough for almost like 3 cups in these, and they're about $1.50. They're about $1.50 to $2 depending on what pattern you want. So you can get quite a bit out of that $1.50, so it makes it go a long way. Then you're also going to use this really nifty tool. I'm sure I'm going to get asked a lot of questions about this, so I will put the link in the drop-down menu to order yours. This is very, very handy. You'll see what we use this for. This is an edging tool. You'll see what we use it for later in the video. I don't know if I mentioned the electrical tape, but the electrical tape. And obviously you'll need a turner. So I have my turner here ready to go. So let's jump in. Okay, guys, as usual, I'm going to excuse my fingers. They're always covered in paint and hair color. Today it's hair color from working at the salon. My day job is I'm a hairstylist. You can never tell from my hair because it's always a hot mess. I spend all my day doing other people's hair. On my work days. I only work 1 day a year. Oh, no, 1 day. Wouldn't that be nice? 1 day a year. 1 day a week up in LA. So I actually just traveled down today. So you can see this is a pretty good size piece of fabric. So you can see you're going to be able to easily get 2 pieces and you'll have left over. This comes inside of it. I actually save these. I save everything. I'm very low on waste when I work on my tumblers. These I save because if I sell a decal, I can actually put this in the envelope and it gives a little more stability so it doesn't get bent as well. And so I just kind of hang these out and I throw these into my shipping box, shipping drawer that I keep all my shipping supplies in. And whenever I sell a small decal or whatever, or if somebody wants one, a friend wants one, I just ship it and mail it with this inside the box or inside the envelope. So then you have this big piece of fabric and you have to decide when you have your fabric which way you want the pattern to go. If you want the feathers to go up and down, or if you want the feathers to go sideways on your cup. So I have already done one of these with the feathers up and down, and I really like it. I made it my personal cup. I put a cute little mama bear thing on it. And then I loved the fabric. I went and bought another square because I did a couple of cups out of it and made them for my family members, and a baby shower gift with one for mama bear. So I know I like it up and down. So I'm going to stick with that. And so what you're going to do is I basically I take my really sharp scissors. These are just my fabric scissors. They're not fancy, but they're the ones I save and only cut fabric with. And I leave the fabric over the edges. And you don't really need to. You can get it really darn close. But I don't try to make my line straight with this fabric here. And you will see later in the video why. So I just do this. And what you're going to do is you're going to roll the cup and get a basic idea of how much fabric you need. And you want to overlap it by, I would say, about 2 inches. You'll see when we go to get a nice edge that extra 2 inches makes a difference. So I kind of go over it and I look you can see that the tail is here and you can see the fabric overlapping. So I then will cut my fabric right there with a little bit, you can see with the like 2 inches-ish in, and I will cut my fabric there. This is not precise. I guess you could put it on your cutting mat if you want something more exact. And like I said, I leave a little hangover there. I'm going to leave a little hangover up there. I'm going to roll it nice and tight. Not tight, but just so it's smooth, I guess, is the better word. So I get a really good roll on it. Then I just identify where that is right there. So I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to cut right up. This is an easy fabric to follow and make a straight line, because I'm just going to cut right up on only the top layer. You don't want to cut through the bottom layer of fabric. Just that, sorry, bumped the camera, guys. Not that bottom layer, just the top layer. You want it to stay overlapped. If you cut that bottom layer, then you're going to have to start over. Well, you could probably still salvage it and just piece it together, but you're not going to have a really crisp edge. Okay, so I can feel the top of my cup is right there, so I'm going to go an extra little snip. Unravel it. Set my cup to the side. Again, you could probably do this on your cutting mat too, and just rotary cutter it with a oh my gosh, why is my brain stopped? Ruler. Oh my gosh, that word would not come to me. You can just do it with a ruler and a rotary cutter, but I can, like I said, it doesn't really matter if your lines are straight, because we're going to edge it anyway. You just need to get that basic square out of there. But you can see you still have this piece. So if you're doing like a small, maybe like a little small 20 ounce, or like one of the Dollar Tree cups, you want to put the fabric in the middle of the Dollar Tree cup, I mean, it works. And then you can see there's a whole nother piece here that's almost the exact same size as this. So you have another piece to wrap around another cup. And it looks like I bet, yep, you could go either way still with this piece. Wrap it this way. You see you still have 2 inches overlapping. So you can get like 2 to 3 cups out of one piece of this Walmart fabric. But you can get fabric anyway. I'm just saying these Walmart squares are perfect because they're just small little sizes. You're not going to have a lot of clutter in your workroom. So then you're going to have this piece cut. So I'm going to take that and put that to the side. Then I'm going to take out my Mod Podge and I'll put the scissors over here too. I'm going to use my, I really like these brushes for Mod Podge because it goes on real nice and smooth. The bristly brushes kind of leave lots of marks. It doesn't really matter. This is a new thing with Mod Podge. So I'm just going to pop it open here. Oh, that's not working. I didn't realize I grabbed the bottle. That was brand new. Sorry, guys. I usually don't make you watch me do that tedious stuff, but I thought I had my older bottle of Mod Podge. But we're going to keep on going. So you've got the Mod Podge, you got this. We're just going to Mod Podge the cup. It doesn't matter if I know you're going to tape, end up edging this, but it doesn't matter. I Mod Podge top to bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just get it on there. Some people sit and try to get every line straight. It doesn't matter. It does not affect it whatsoever. Go all the way up, all the way down. Normally I don't make you guys watch me do this stuff, but I just do it off camera and come back. But this is a quick process. Like I said, because I don't worry about, like, it doesn't matter how the Mod Podge really goes on. Okay, so now we have this cup Mod Podge. Of course, I got Mod Podge on my little fabric here. That's all right. Wipes away. Okay, so now we have the cup. We're going to bring back the fabric. It's got the frayed edge, which doesn't really matter. So we're going to leave the frayed edge for the piece that's going to be on the top. And we're just going to lay this cup down in the middle with a little on the top and a little on the bottom. I'm going to push it up just a touch. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull this and push it on. You want to do this right after you've applied the Mod Podge. So the Mod Podge is nice and wet and kind of grips the fabric. And you're just going to roll it and you're going to smooth it. You can see, you don't have to worry. Some people are like, oh, you got to iron. You don't have to iron. Don't need to iron at all. You just pull it and smooth it. That crease from the fabric will pull right out and go real smooth. And I just smooth it. Okay. It probably would be a little less work maybe if you did iron it, but to me, waiting for my heat press, if it hasn't already been heated up, waiting for my heat press to heat up is, I don't like to sit still. So sitting and watching my heat press heat up slowly is mind numbing. So then what you're going to do is you're going to lift up this piece and you're going to put extra Mod Podge in there. And you're going to Mod Podge the edge that's overlapping. And you're going to go up a little bit on the cup and down. All the way edge and take it over the lip. Doesn't matter if you go outside the line of what the overlap would be. Just need to get it on there. Okay. So then you're going to again pull it and smooth it right over. Okay. So then you've got it like this. It's fine. You see all the Mod Podge coming through. That's fine. I'm going to have it all over my hands, but I always have junk on my hands from doing these cups. Okay. So then you're at this point and you have this weird flap and you don't want it, but you want a nice, even, perfect seam. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your very, very sharp X-Acto knife, and I hope this one is, I mean, I replaced it yesterday and I haven't used it since, so unless one of my little turds came in here and played, which she shouldn't have been playing, my kids should not be out here, but my husband or somebody came out here and messed with it, it should be pretty sharp. So what I'm going to do is I don't try to cut from the tip. I don't try to cut from up here. I cut from here. So I'm going to go into the fabric. I actually punch through a hole instead of just trying to start the drag, because you might drag on your fabric. So I punch the hole first. Oh, how can I do this where you can see it with the camera? There we go. So I punch the hole first, press really hard to make sure you cut through both layers all the way through and do a nice straight line. You got to keep a lot of pressure on it to make sure you're cutting all the way through both layers of fabric. Okay. So now I have my straight line. So then what I do after I get my straight line is I go in and I push out that way. And then same for this side. I get the tip back in there. Whoop. And I push out. Okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to lift this piece away and discard it to the side. Then you're going to lift this piece back very gently. Pull that extra piece out, just like that. Then you're going to re-Mod Podge. You always want to make sure you get it really nice and adhered. Get it right in there in the cracks. Again, it doesn't matter if the Mod Podge is laying over. And you're going to flop this back over, and you're going to press it, and you're going to push it right up to the line. So you can see, and you're going to push it down, and where you don't want to be able to see metal, so you want to just slide it. You want to just slide it together. Oops, no big deal. You just want to push the fabric right up onto itself, onto each other. And then you get a nice, clean, smooth, flat line. The reason you want that X-Acto knife to be super duper sharp is for multiple reasons. If it's not super sharp, when you go to cut, it's going to pull the fabric instead of cut through the fabric. Actually, sorry, I'm going to put the lid back on my X-Acto knife so I don't stab myself. It's not going to cut smooth through the fabric. It's going to kind of bunch the fabric up, and then you're going to get a jagged line. Also, if you don't have a sharp X-Acto knife, as you're pulling, it's going to fray this material as you're going. And you don't want a frayed material, because then you have lumps and bumps, and you're going to have to try to deal with those over your epoxy and sand and cut and do all kinds of things. And it also makes it a lot more obvious where your seam is. So this one is really nice because you really don't even notice that there's a seam there, because it's such a chill fabric. What's it? Not chill fabric. Very basic pattern. More intricate patterns, like if you have faces or whatever, obviously when you get those, it's going to be a stinker. But there's a lot of ways you can hide it. You can put a strip of washi tape glitter down it and hide it with the washi. That's actually my favorite thing to do. Or like a washi tape in like a gray band just down the back. something simple. So now what you're gonna do with this, you keep on moving. We're gonna keep on going. So now what you're gonna do with this cup is Mod Podge the heck out of this thing. So I'm just gonna coat it really, really well. Again, normally I don't make you guys watch me this tedious process, but this is pretty much the whole cup. It's just Mod Podging. So I'm gonna coat it. This is the one where I do try to make sure there isn't any big puddles of Mod Podge. You don't have to get it exactly perfect. Again, Mod Podge over the edges, even though we're gonna trim them. Later in the video, you'll see how we trim those. Once this is dry, I'm gonna put on quite a few layers of Mod Podge before I trim it. So you don't fray the fabric. It's really important. Oop, I got a fuzzy. Oop. So I just kind of glop it on and then smooth it out. Okay, more Mod Podge. I'm being messy on this one. Normally in my workspace, I am over like one of those silver baking trays so that it catches all the stuff. But for today, we kept it pretty and we're working over here. So I'm just kind of, that's it. So I just kind of look for any big things that might cause a bump or ripple on the cup. Make sure the seams are well done all the way down. Okay, so we're just gonna let this one dry. I'm gonna do this, so what I'll do, I'm not gonna do it all on camera because you guys don't need to waste your time watching me Mod Podge this thing 5 or 6 times. So what I'm gonna do with this cup now is I'm gonna let it air dry. I could put it in front of a fan, it'll dry faster, but I'm gonna come back through probably in about 45 minutes or so. Oop, there's a puff. See, I just watched anything that gets on the cup, you wanna take it off before it dries into the Mod Podge because that's gonna cause a lump in your epoxy. So I'm gonna let this dry for probably 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm gonna add another layer, then I'm gonna let it dry for 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm gonna add a layer, and I'm gonna keep doing that, and I'm gonna do about 4 to 5 layers of the Mod Podge on this cup before we hit to the next step. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you guys. We will come back after I've got all those layers done, because it's gonna be done exactly as this layer is done. And we'll just repeat that process, and then we'll be back when that's done, and we will keep on with this video. Okay, we are back, and this cup has been Mod Podged probably about 3 layers. I'm only doing 3 for now because I'm gonna do 2 more layers at least once I've trimmed it, probably 3, maybe even 4, it just depends. This is probably just gonna sit around my shop for the next 24 hours, and as I remember to do it, I'm just gonna throw a layer of Mod Podge on there. I do a lot of layers because that's really gonna help you get a really good seal on it and keep it from getting what I call oil slicks when you hit it with the epoxy and the epoxy actually seeps in and it makes it look wet. So the more Mod Podge you do, the less likely you are to have the oil slicks. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these 2 tools for this point. This is my super duper sharp X-Acto knife. And this is a trimmer, an edging trimmer. And it's set, you can see it's just like a plate that you can press into, and then it has a razor blade hooked onto it really, really tightly. And you can change these out. It's interchangeable. You just unscrew this and you can put a new razor blade in when you start, when this one starts wearing down. Also, keep these tools away from children. They are extremely sharp. My kids aren't really allowed in this space. They are here, but usually when they're out here in my workspace, it's under heavy supervision and all my tools are up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your edging tool and you're gonna put it down, and you're gonna take your cup and you're gonna set it on top, and you're gonna press it onto the edging tool. I press really hard, and then just spin the cup. And as you spin the cup, you're actually slicing that fabric, and you're slicing it just like you would make the line with the marker and with the popsicle sticks. You're doing kind of the same thing with this. You're making a perfectly straight edge, but you're using a razor blade to cut the fabric. I go around a couple times to make sure I get all the way through, but if I don't, I go back through with my X-Acto knife and I can cut any little fibers that are left over. So you can see, oops, sorry guys, bumped you. You can see, and then you just peel it away, just like that. And see like this, there's like a little string there. Oh, that came off. I thought it was gonna be a little attached thread. So if you do have any loose threads, this shouldn't fray at all because it's been Mod Podged to high heck. So it should stay stiff. but you want to, if there is any little strings that do stay attached, you can just take your X-Acto knife. I got lucky, so I didn't have any this time. And you just kind of like pinch it and slice it, and it'll come off. You can see there's some Mod Podge residue here. That is totally okay. We're gonna keep working with this cup, and by the end, that will mostly likely be all completely gone. So I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm gonna throw that off to the side, and I'm gonna do that one more time for you guys so you can see it really well. And you're just gonna spin the cup. Oop, the fabric got up there. Spin the cup. This fabric is wanting to go. And so, and slice, just like that. Ooh, this fabric is really getting in the way. So I'm gonna tuck it inside the cup so we don't keep having reoccurring problems. And just press and spin. I'm trying to do this where you guys can see what I'm doing so I'm not blocking it with my hands. Okay, I only went around once, so I'm probably gonna have to use the X-Acto knife a little bit. Oh, I didn't even hit this section. So I didn't even make it around once. Cut. Okay. You see how easy that is? It just peels right off. This tool is amazing. Looks good. Oh, that's good. I actually wanted this to have an example for you guys. So see, there's one, I don't know if I can get it close enough to the camera. There's one little tag that's hanging off here and a tiny little one right here because I didn't get a clean cut because I had too much fabric hanging out. So I just take my super sharp X-Acto knife. So I'm going to press it on the table so I don't mess up the cup. And I'm just going to cut with my X-Acto knife and pull that piece away. And where was the other one? There's a tiny one right here. So I'm just going to slice and pull it away. And there you go. You have a well-edged cup. Okay, so from here, so this tool is awesome. I love it. I use it almost every single, actually pretty much every single time I do a fabric cup. So I will put the link to where you guys can get these. It's a small business. You're supporting a small business when you buy this. I'll put the link in the drop-down menu so you guys can check that out. Okay, so now we are here at this stage and we are gonna get this cup ready to epoxy. Nope, I am wrong. I'm actually going to go start Mod Podging this one. So I almost missed the step. So when I Mod Podge this time, I'm actually going to Mod Podge and I'm going to Mod Podge up and over and up and over. I'm going to actually Mod Podge onto the silver rim and you'll see why. That way I'm just making sure that that edge right here along the side gets sealed down really well. And then I'm going to tape it off and then you'll see once it's epoxied and done, you can then go through and clean this off. But I am going to start Mod Podging this one again. You guys don't need to watch me do that. It's boring. You've seen me Mod Podge this cup already. It's just slap the Mod Podge on, slide it on. We're going to do 2, maybe 3 layers, and we're going to go up all the way to the edge to the top and all the way to the edge to the bottom onto the silver. And all right, so I'm going to start doing that, and we will come back once I've got a few layers on. I will jump back on here for you guys and show you the next step. I've got this layer on. I just wanted to show it to you guys. I realize maybe there might be some beginners when I just say I'm not going to do it on camera. I really should respect that there's some people out there that really don't know how to do this yet, and they're seeing these videos. So you can see that I've Mod Podged all the way up to this edge onto the silver, and I've actually kind of tapped down on that little rough edge to make sure that there's Mod Podge right up against the seam. You can see here it started already drying a little. It looks like there's no Mod Podge, but there is. It's just starting to dry. And I tapped it onto the seams. I brushed it across the whole cup, and then same thing on the bottom. I brought it in real close, and you can see I've tapped it all the way into the edges to make sure that I have a really good edge. Now I will do that for the next 3 layers. I will always make sure that edge is really well coated, and then I'll just brush it over the cup to make sure it's all done. Okay, so there's that step, you guys, and I'm gonna keep on rolling with this, and then we'll be back to epoxy the cup. Okay guys, we are back with this cup. I thought, you know what? Just in case you guys don't have this super fancy tool and you don't want to invest in one, which is fine, I'm gonna show you how to do an edge without having that tool. So you're gonna need electrical tape. I use the electrical tape just to get a nice even line around, so it's not a wobbly line. Oh, there's something got on my cup. Oh, well, we'll keep moving. I'll pretend that didn't happen. I'll clean it later. And then I got my X-Acto knife. This is a super duper sharp X-Acto knife and a pair of scissors. Mainly the scissors are just to cut my electrical tape. So we're gonna get in here and I'm gonna pull a piece of electrical tape, snip it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this tape and I'm gonna lay it on the edge, and I'm gonna give myself a line to follow with my X-Acto knife. It's a lot harder to do this by hand because your X-Acto knife will slip or sway or move, and that's fine, it is what it is. We don't all have that perfect steady hand. But this black electrical tape line will give you a reference to follow. And as you always see, even though I'm not pulling this one the same way, I'm gonna leave a tab so it's easy to find anyway. So then I'm gonna take this. Now, this will probably be the last time that I use this. I'm calling this my super sharp X-Acto knife, but because I'm gonna be cutting into it and hitting metal with the edge, I will actually take this out and start and put it in my pile of my not fancy X-Acto knife. So when I'm doing more like stripping cups or really scraping stuff off, I have 3 X-Acto knives. One for super duper sharp things that I need for like this type of cup, when I'm doing this type of work on a cup. I have one that's in between, that's kind of like cutting other things, but nothing hardcore or too rough. And then I have the last one is my super junky one that I will use for stripping and really gouging at things. And so I kind of have 3 levels of X-Acto knives. So this one, you're just gonna choose a starting point and go in, push very hard. I don't know if you can see, I'm even white knuckling this one. You're pushing extremely hard. Always make sure you're going down and away from your body. I cut towards my table because I don't want to cut towards any of my skin, because if you slip, you could cut yourself very bad. As my friend Yvette has seen, she has got stitches in her wrist currently. She jammed herself with an X-Acto knife. So be super careful when working with X-Acto knives. But you can see I'm just following this black line, and I'm pushing very, very hard and just slicing slowly. Sometimes I nick the black line, that's fine, it's gonna happen. But that black line is just there to help me, guide me. Okay, so now we've got that done. I'm gonna pull the tape so you guys can see what I've got going on. It's stuck to me. And then we're gonna try to slide it off like we did with the other one. There we go. And it does the exact, so you get the same effect as the other special tool, but the other tool is just a lot easier. It's a lot less fumbling around with your cup. This, you can see it left a few more. Sorry, my phone's ringing, guys. It never rings. Nobody has this number. It's just an emergency line. So who knows who's calling. But you see this left some fuzzy, so I'm doing the same thing as I did on my last cup, on the last, showing it with you, this thing, that you still go around and catch all the little fuzzies that might be sticking out, okay? All right, so I had already done my layers on this one to seal in that edge. So I'm gonna do a few more layers on it to make sure this new edge is sealed in, and we will come back and epoxy this cup on the next set. And I've gotta see if I can figure out how to get these off. If not, well, this is just gonna be, I don't even know where that could have gone, where that happened. Anyway, so we will come back after I get this sealed up on this edge. Okay, we are back with the fabric tumbler, and you can see I've got it taped off and I am ready. This one has had, I probably put about 4 more coats on this one. And again, same thing, I just brought the Mod Podge all the way up to the edge. You can't see the glued part, but because I've got the tape over it. But again, don't worry about the Mod Podge. We get it all cleaned off later. And pretty much when you peel this tape, it rips up a lot of that old junky Mod Podge. So we've got this Mod Podge about 4 more times. We made sure the edge was very, very well coated so that we have no oil slicks on it. And we've got it taped off, ready for epoxying. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on and epoxy this. I'm gonna do 2 layers of this. You guys don't need to watch me do that. You've seen me epoxy before. And I will jump back in and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, so this one has 2 coats of epoxy on it. And it's real smooth and nice, so I'm gonna consider this cup done. This is just gonna be a simple cup. This is just to show you guys the fabric today. I'm gonna show you how to clean off this Mod Podge. You're gonna take your X-Acto knife, just like you would your epoxy, and slice through and peel off. It's very similar to just cutting off the edge of the fabric. And I'm just real careful about staying right on the edge. I don't want to cut into the fabric because then you're going to damage the seal. This is just going to be like the extra Mod Podge that went up and over the lip. I'm not cutting into the epoxy. So I just take my super sharp X-Acto knife. My purple one is my very, very sharp one. My blue one is just kind of for my other projects, and my completely silver one is my junky one. Okay, so you can see this. This is the Mod Podge. I was saying you just paint right up and don't worry about it because it comes off real easy. And you can see you got a nice clean edge on there. There's a little more. I mean, you can go back through and just be real picky. I get the gist of it off, and then I kind of really hunt through it and make sure it looks perfect before I ship it out. Same thing on this one. If you do go into your epoxy, just retape it. If you accidentally cut down into the top of the epoxy, just retape it off and throw another real thin layer over the top. You can even do a hang method layer and just get it real thin just to make sure and ensure that there is a layer of epoxy making a seal around the cup. So see, that's just whoop, and it comes right off. I'm laughing as I'm doing this because if you guys could see how I film these, I am basically straddling the camera because I want to make the camera come in real close so you can see what my hands are doing. So I have to bring the camera in super close. Here we go. Okay, so you can see that line is really smooth and clean. No more, there's no Mod Podge. It's nice and clean. You don't see any slice marks or anything. This is a beautiful cup. It's just real simple. Normally I would add all kinds of decals, but you guys don't need to waste your time watching me stick a sticker on. So this one, we'll call it done. So there you go. This is how you fabric a tumbler. This is a 30 ounce skinny, but you can use the same technique really on any type of size or style of tumbler. It's the same concept, just Mod Podge, stick it down, make sure you overlap, slice through the overlapped piece, go through and take out the extra sliced out pieces. That gives you this nice, perfect seam where it lines up with each other. Done it. That's it. So you guys, give me a thumbs up if you like this video and the information. Feel free to ask questions. I try to be as available for you guys as possible. Subscribe to the channel if you liked what you saw. If you want to keep up with the videos that I'm putting out, make sure you click on the bell so it notifies you when I put out new videos. I'm putting out a bunch. I'm just moving through and trying to get you guys some good information. And check the drop-down link and menu for all the fun links for the Facebook page we have going and all the fun places. And we also will have a bunch of links for the supplies that we used so that it makes it really easy for you guys to shop. If you don't have some of this stuff on hand, you can just click and buy. All right, let's see. I will see you guys on the next video.